makes you feel at home. It makes you feel like you're back in the building again with the guys you went out and won it with last year. So it's definitely a good feeling to be back.
The wait is over. Veterans reported to the Chiefs facility on Thursday, and training camp is officially underway with the NFL season right around the corner. Hey everybody, I'm Matt McMullen, and welcome into another episode of The Breakdown. We heard from Patrick Mahomes and some of the Chiefs rookies on last week's camp episode. Go check that out if you haven't already. And today's show is all about the vets. You'll hear from several of them in today's show, plus we'll go over a few key things the Chiefs should look to accomplish in this year's camp after such a unique offseason. But first, let's hear from Travis Kelce, who talked about what it's like to finally be back in the team facility.
It's just good to be around the guys. I mean, the meeting last night, it was long and insightful and informative, but just the small locker room talk that we got to have with some of the guys catching up with everybody, it's it makes you feel at home. It makes you feel like you're back in the building again with the guys you went out and won it with last year. So it's definitely a good feeling to be back.
Now, it's important to remember that this thing is just getting started. There's a ramp-up period now where guys will be focused on strength and conditioning before actually hitting the field later on in camp. It's also important to point out all the work that went into this. The protocols in place this year are a huge credit to the Chiefs front office and the athletic training staff, led by Vice President of Sports Medicine and Performance, Rick Burkholder. They've created an environment where the team can safely prepare for the football season, but accountability outside of the facility is just as important. And if you ask Kelce, that's where the strong leadership on this team comes into play.
It's accountability. I mean, the guys coming in the office, they know what this team is capable of. I mean, it shows what we did last year and who all we got coming back, which means we got just about every single leader that we had in this locker room outside of two that respectively decided to opt out. I think that we're as set and ready leadership-wise as we've ever been. And the tone has to be set and the accountability has to be set amongst all the guys in the locker room to, you know what, there's a virus out here. It's not something we can play around with. It's something that we have to take serious. Guys are going home to their families. We have kids and wives and beautiful families that we have to make sure that we're all being held accountable for. So like Coach Reed said, just making sure you're doing the right things for the guys around you. But I don't see much of a problem because a lot of that is already kind of set in the culture that Coach Reed and the leaders on this team have set.
All right, so now that it's finally here, let's dive into a few things that will be crucial during this year's camp. First, let's remember that the Chiefs have some luxuries heading into this season that many teams don't have. The coaching staff is intact from last year. The quarterback is the same, and not to mention the best player in all of football. Those two things alone are huge, as teams gearing up for this season with a new coach, a new quarterback, or even both are facing some real challenges with such limited time to prepare as a team on the field. So the Chiefs already have that going for them, and then on top of that, nearly every starter is back from last year. That continuity would have been huge even without a pandemic, but it's more important considering the unique nature of this past offseason. With all that in mind, what did the Chiefs need to accomplish during camp? Timing and comfort within the scheme are two of the biggest things. We all know it, and Coach Reed has said it time and time again. This is a throwing league nowadays, and nailing down the timing it takes to execute the Chiefs' offense will be a focus point throughout camp. As far as comfort goes, it's just about ensuring that guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who will likely see some significant time at running back this season with Damian Williams opting out of the campaign, are just familiar with being around Mahomes and their teammates on the field. And another key focus, while seemingly obvious, will be about staying hungry for a second title. We've celebrated the Super Bowl all offseason long, but it's paramount that the focus shifts from that accomplishment to doing it again this season. Tyrann Mathieu spoke about that this week.
Well, I think it just starts with, obviously guys like Patrick, myself, Frank Clark, just setting the tempo. Obviously, I feel like, I'm extremely motivated. Obviously, I feel like there's so much more that we could really achieve on an individual level, on a team level. I feel like defensively, we still aren't, talked about in the breadth that I would like. So I'm extremely motivated to kind of keep my guys, chipping away at it. And we're constantly trying to set a standard that everybody's going to respect. And so I'm hoping the young guys that we added and some of the veterans we've added could kind of, help bring, that swagger to the room.
We are always talking about the offense, but as I've said in previous episodes, this defense was the best group in the NFL to close out last season. They allowed just 11.5 points per game from Week 11 through Week 17, the best mark in the league. And let's not forget about how this defense stepped up in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. Now a season later, Anthony Hitchens believes the defense can carry that momentum into week 1 and earn that respect from the very beginning.
I just think we got to build from what we did at the end of last year. And we got a lot of guys returning. That's not promising anything, but we know how to win, and we felt that joy of beating people and playing good defense and not winning 50-51, and actually beating people. So that feeling is none other, especially after the Super Bowl. So we got fired. Like we're just getting started, and that's the best thing about this team is we're not satisfied at all. So I just think we all have that mindset, and with Coach Reed as our leader, and the sky's the limit.
I just love the collective attitude from this defense. The numbers back up just how good they were last season, no matter what the national pundits say, but they are determined to go out there and prove that they are for real. That mentality extends to the new guys as well, such as rookie linebacker Willie Gay. This offseason has been a little tougher on guys like that, just because this is their first go-around in the league, so it's up to guys like Hitchens to be there as a veteran voice to provide some advice.
I already talked to him plenty of times. Just get in your playbook. So when you get out there, you done seen it already. You visualize it, watch film. We got so much film on our iPads. You can watch so many tapes from years past. Even when Spags was back with the Giants, we got tape on that. So, you just got to watch film, and you got to do the other things. You got to do everything possible that you can do without running out there and hitting people and getting the physical reps. So, me being a vet, I'm just trying to take everybody under my wing and show them there's other ways to get better. And then once you get out there on that field, it's like you've seen it already. I've seen that on film. I already walked through this. I've seen this in the classroom already. So there's other ways to get better, and we have a lot of vets on this team. So we got to use that as an advantage, and just bring the young guys along.
What Hitch just talked about is really one of the things that separates players at this level. It's one thing to have all the athletic gifts in the world, but knowing your scheme and your opponent front and back to the point where you can fully utilize those athletic gifts is what makes the difference in the end. The goal is you don't have to spend so much time thinking on the field. You can react based on what you've studied. And the fact that guys like Hitchens are taking the rookies under their wings in a virtual setting throughout this offseason and now in a physical one as we transition into training camp makes me feel pretty good about their chances of success in 2020. This is just the beginning, everybody. We've got a long ways to go as the Chiefs get ready for the season. But for the first time in months, the guys are in the facility working to run it back and win KC another championship. That's all for this one. Thank you so much as always for listening, and until next time, this is Matt McMullen signing off.